Hello, and welcome to the Dear Professor series, where college students who take courses online speak their minds. I am your host and e-learning strategist, Dr. Kellie Alston, who is so excited about this series and this first episode in particular. I have been teaching online since 2004, and I even obtained my PhD in instructional design and technology via an online program. So I've been both instructor and student. As a result, I know that there are some wonderful things happening in the online programs, as well as some not so wonderful things going on. I also know that according to the National Center for Education Statistics and Education Dynamics, online college enrollment is on the rise. Before the pandemic, online learning programs were typically for people going back to school to augment or change their career or pursuing a graduate degree to enhance their career while they work. However, Education Dynamics found in 2023 that the largest share of students pursuing undergraduate or graduate degrees online is 35 or younger. That said, 35% of students pursuing online undergraduate degrees are between 19 and 23, and 42% of online graduate students are between 30 and 35. So as more and more programs are offered online, and there's a monumental increase in education technology advancements, it is critical that we do distance learning right. The purpose of this series is to help professors and students experience a more fulfilling online learning environment by allowing students to reveal their needs and their pet peeves. My hope is that this information will support professors in making the necessary changes or adjustments in the design and delivery of their online courses, which should ultimately enhance student success and satisfaction with distance education. So, if you're interested in hearing what students have to say about their lived experiences online, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that every Wednesday at 8 p.m., the latest episode will come straight to you. Also, feel free to comment about anything said and ask questions. Today, I am so honored to have Leighana Dail here with me. She is now deemed a trailblazer as our very first guest who is willing to be open and honest with us about what learning online has been like for her. Hi, Leighana.
Hi, Dr. Alston.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Leighana, let's start off with you telling us about yourself, and I'm going to be taking notes while you're talking. So go right away. Go ahead with it.
Okay. I am 25 years old and I'm currently obtaining my bachelor's in early childhood education online at a local university. And I hope to become an intentional and effective kindergarten teacher when it's all said and done. I'm really passionate about education and making sure that the little ones get a solid education because fostering a love to learn starts at a very young age. Aside from that, I am a very optimistic and organized individual who absolutely loves to clean, loves my planner, loves good writing pens, and adores llamas and alpacas.
Oh my goodness. Now, first, let's give you a round of applause for being an educator with so many people leaving education. I
Oh,
just want
yes.
to thank you for being dedicated, and kindergarten is such a precious time. And also, I didn't know that you love planners. So we have that
Oh,
in.
let me tell you, I live by my planner. If I don't have that near me at all times, I really don't know what to do half the time. I'm like, let me just jot that down in my planner so I don't forget it, or let me check my planner, make sure we're good, that kind of stuff.
Right, right. Look, I even have my planners from when I was in undergrad. I still have them in a box in the closet. Okay.
Oh,
That's how
wow.
much I like.
Oh, wow.
I keep mine. I probably should throw them away, but I keep them. So,
Oh,
Leighana,
no.
tell me about your. Oh, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Oh, no, you're fine. I was just saying it's a good keepsake.
Yeah, to flip back and see what was going on at a certain year and time. So, Leighana,
Yeah.
how would you yourself as a student? Like, do you enjoy school, or is this something you do because you have to?
So I love, like I said, like in value education. I love education and I love learning. I've never been one, like say all the time to my friends and family, like when they ask me, I've never taken a break from school. Like I've been in school since I was young. So I've been
Okay.
in this for a while, but it's not something, not until recently have I found that is something that I feel like I have to do. I have always enjoyed it. I love making friends, love helping my teachers, love work sometimes, like sometimes up until like when it starts getting really juicy and hard.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, everything else, yeah, it's been I'm a student who loves school. I guess you could say if I had to put it on a spectrum between students who don't like school and dread going to school and students who do like it and don't mind it, like I would put myself on the spectrum of loving it.
Okay, so then tell us about this online experience that you've had. Like, what has
Whew.
been your experience, like, in terms of, like, how long have you been taking classes online? Are you getting a completely degree, or are you just taking some
Right.
classes? Like, tell us about that.
So I have been taking online courses since 2016. My first online course was started my senior year in high school. A funny little background and funny story about that. What I'm in school for right now, what I'm getting my degree in right now, was actually not the plan I had for my life from the start. My very first online course was a psychology course in high school.
Oh,
And
okay.
I fell in love with psychology. Like psychology was my thing for a long time. And that I actually wanted that to be the end goal for my career. But we know how life does, and we know what, you gotta you gotta go with life sometimes. um
Right.
anyway, when I graduated high school, I went to a local community college where it was a mix of online and in-person classes. And
Mhm.
I found that, for the time being, since it was local and my schedule was willing, like in person classes was convenient. But after obtaining that degree, and it was my associate's in arts, I took a semester off and completely like changed my degree plan and obtained my associate's in early childhood education, which was fully online. And with that, like I noticed that that was more convenient for sure, which has led me here. So I've been in this online course journey for a while. So yeah.
Well, Leanna, guess what I was supposed to be? This
What?
is too funny, a child psychologist.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yes,
That's like the best of both worlds.
yeah, I had that planned out. Like, I was gonna get my PhD in child psychology by 28, and I was gonna have my own practice. So I understand how life happens and things change.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so let me ask you this. If you were to rate your experience with online learning on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 means it's outstanding, and 1, it has been horrific. What rating would you give it, and why?
Oh me. Um
Tell the truth.
that is a loaded question. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I think I would have to rate it a solid 5.
Okay.
And I say that because you get the like in just hear me out when I say this. You get the good
Mhm.
batch of online courses and you get the horrible batch of online courses. And what I mean by that is, you get those smooth sailing ones, communication is popping, everything is just great, like you understand everything, it's all laid out there for you. And then you have those other online courses where it's hard. Like it is hard, and the point of being in an online course is in my opinion, I'm not in class for a reason. And so
Right.
with that being an online course, I would expect some things, and sometimes those expectations seem a little bit too high for some instructors. So I think that's why I have it's in the middle. It's a solid 5.
Okay, well, that was a good segue into my next question, which is, what are your needs as an online student? So I want to make sure we're clear what we mean by needs. We mean something that you require because it is essential or very important. I know you said that communication must be popping or needs to be popping.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's in the good batch. So when you're taking an online course, what would you say are your needs Like, what do you require or desire to be successful learning online?
This is a great question. Considering the amount of time I have spent in online courses, I have fortunately been able to navigate what my needs are, and
Mhm.
in a sense, also imagine the needs of other students, like what they would need too. I could go down a long list of it, but I'll narrow it down to I think what's the very most important for myself, and that is, as an
Okay.
online student, has to be communication between the instructor and student. Even as far as, I mean, this may be getting ahead of myself, but even as far as the university as a whole, like the school, the instructors, everybody, like I'm an online student for a reason, like I said. So communication is the only way that, in my opinion, it's going to work. Whether that's
Mhm.
me trying to get in touch with my instructor or the financial aid office or student services, is quite literally the biggest avenue to reach people, whether it's, your students, your mom, your cousin, uncle, coworker, you name it. Communication
Right.
has got to be there. Um, to be successful and effective, I feel like you have to have adequate communication skills. And as an online student who cares, it's a need. So that's one. That's one very important need that I would say I look for. And another one, as an online student, is a drive or sense of care, a sense of passion, motivation from the instructor on what's being taught, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's so easy for online students to get burnt out and going through the same mundane routines day after day. And, aside from, what we do online, we have a life outside. So sometimes it's really hard to get back into the groove of things. Like if we have to come to class for maybe like an online meeting, like not our brains might not always be where they need to be in that specific moment. So the last thing that we need is an instructor who doesn't care whether that's about their job or what's being taught, because it quickly rubs off on the students. I'll say
Yeah.
for myself, I long for the push to be better and do better, hoping the instructor has high expectations, because I personally don't like settling. And I would think that the goal of an instructor is to at least try to foster a sense of passion of what's being taught so the student can have that same drive.
Oh, that was wonderful. So you just have 2 demands. Then
I
is that
would
what you're
say
saying?
that.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, like, I do have a long list, but I guess if I just thought about, like, what I feel like maybe be the make or break, like, for what's gonna make this, online thing work, I definitely would. I mean, communication, 110%, and then, like, just the sense of passion from the instructor, a sense of care, because we're human too, like, we care about
Right.
our instructor in our courses, so y'all care about us a little bit too.
Okay, so then let me ask you something that's very important to know. How is that passion delivered then? How would you say you know that an online instructor has passion or is passionate about the subject matter?
I would say they maybe in a way like use their own experiences to reach their students and teaching what the subject is. So like I'm trying to think of how to word this. Maybe like let me think. Like if you have a I know that we all won't have the same passions in life, but let's say like the instructor has a passion of reading. You're getting taught, as an educator, how to teach your class to read. They're in the early stages of reading and stuff like that. Offer many sources to us to and offer us many sources as the students. Offer us many
Mhm.
sources. Teach on those sources. Teach us how to use those sources. Teach us how to like dive deeper into that. Use your own personal experiences as someone who loves this topic. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if that
Right.
makes any sense,
That
but
does make sense.
yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, then let's get into something a little bit that I can't wait to talk about. Now, I appreciate hearing what you need because it's essential for designing a high quality course and ensuring that your knowledge, your skills, your perspectives are enhanced. But this is the part that I can't wait to hear. Leighana, what are your pet peeves. So let me share with everybody what pet peeves are, just in case somebody has never heard that word before. Now, a
Right.
pet peeve is a minor annoyance that an individual finds particularly irritating. It is something that bothers you more than it might bother other people. So your pet peeve may not be someone else's, and that's okay. So let it rip, Leighana. Tell us what you hate or you just annoys you in the own
Oh my
environment.
goodness. Disclaimer, so much annoys me. So much. There are so many things. Oh my gosh. Like trying to sit here and narrow it down to like whatever it is. Y'all thought I said that my list for, needs is long. No, my list for pet peeves is so long
Well,
because
we have time. Go ahead. Have
much,
time today.
I was about to say, we got time today. We have
Right.
so much to unpack when it comes to online courses because there's so much that's unseen. And it's
Right.
just so it's just so aggravating. It just makes you want to like squeeze something. I don't know. So we obviously know that online courses can get super annoying on
Mhm.
both ends, whether it's me or whether it's the instructor. It can be
Right.
annoying, like really annoying. Um I mean, there are so many needs that have to be met. And I guess I'm speaking on the instructor's part because I try to find the silver lining here, like trying to see both sides of things.
Right.
You can see where the instructor may get a little, like I know that instructors have their own pet peeves. Trust me. Like I get that because there's so many needs that we need as a student that we ask of. And it could be draining. I can imagine it could be for draining. But man, let me just say, I think, obviously, it could be the complete opposite of what I mentioned my needs are. So lack of communication, that is, it just messes me up, Dr. Alston. I can't even like when there is a lack of communication, or better yet, no communication. It just
Right.
rubs me wrong. Like it's just really, I don't want to continue this course with you if you can't
Right.
communicate because that should be your ultimate thing anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So the opposite of what I said my needs are. So communication and a teacher that doesn't care. But oh my gosh, what irritates me the most about being an online student has to be the handouts that instructors give to students who did not put any effort into their work at all. Whereas there are these other students who stay up all night perfecting their craft, making sure that they have done everything adequately and up to par according to the rubrics that have been handed out, all to get
Right.
the same grade as a student who got an AI website to write their paper for them. Now
Are you
what?
talking about ChatGPT?
Yes, that one. That one. Who has made it to the news? I don't know if you've seen it or not, but
Right.
that website has made it to the news and teachers are on the prowl for it. But then again, it's like nowadays what teachers care? Like they're still gonna take a paper that a student got a chat a AI to write. Sorry, I was
Right one. Right.
yeah. And then there's students like me who care and like try and like I guess I know there's other students that think the same way that like stay up all night trying to make sure they're doing this right, stressing, all to just have the same thing and no like it's not like we search for praise or whatever, but like just there's no separation, I guess you could say, from
Right.
like maybe my paper versus someone who just got paid somebody online to write their paper in 10 minutes and we get the same.
Ooh, yes, I had. Okay, let me not even interject. Let me say this, Leanna. When you said, because I don't know if it went out on your end, but my internet kind of went out when you said something about the handouts and
Yeah.
your voice went out after that. What did you say about the handouts
I
specifically,
was
just in
just
case it went out?
I was just saying that the handouts that instructors give to students who didn't put any effort into their work, whereas there's
Oh, like
yeah,
handing out the grade.
yeah, handing out
Okay,
the
I thought
grade.
you meant like a PDF.
No, no, sorry. Just
Yeah, because your voice went out, and I was like, oh, and I wrote handouts since I
oh
was like,
no, no.
yeah, exactly. So that goes along with what you were saying. Yeah. So getting the same grade as someone who put forth no effort or who got somebody else to do their work for them.
Yep. And there is like a group of students in this online world that will literally munch and use the brains of students who actually care and spend time and effort into their work. I've had in the past, and this was the worst oh my gosh. I've had so many bad experiences, but this is one that like is on the list. There was a student in the past that literally copied my work verbatim from a discussion forum. And that's why me and discussion forums kind of have beef, because it's almost like it's a little bit unfair.
My goodness.
A little bit unfair. This student
Right.
copied my work. Like, I'm not pretty sure, I am sure they copied and pasted, and the teacher did nothing about it. And this happened week after week, and I brought it to the instructor's attention and everything. And this student was literally copying my initial post each week and posting it themselves as if like we can't see. I don't know what was going on in their head, but
Goodness.
yeah. And so that is quite irritating. That is the biggest pet peeve is these students who just munch and get the same thing that I'm getting when I'm not munching.
Right. And they're not upholding the academic integrity policy of the university in that case as well. Did you have others? You said you had a lot.
Let's see. I do. I'm trying to like. I want to use a filter. If that makes sense.
Do what you have to do to tell the truth. Tell the truth, Leighana.
I guess really like I can't. Biggest pet peeves. Maybe it's just me. I just don't like working with people online. Like, I just wish that this online world was just like one-on-one, me and the instructor, so we can just get things done and move on. Because there's been so many times I've been in oh, this is a good one because my thought just went to where it's supposed to go. Okay, so there's been so many times we have been in meetings, like weekly meetings with our instructor, with our classes, doing coursework and stuff like that.
Right.
And I just feel like I'm wasting my time with the students that are in there that are asking dumb. And I know y'all filter. I'm sorry. No question is a dumb question, but there are dumb questions that come across.
That's not true. Whoever said that. No, that is not true.
Let me tell you. I was about to contradict myself because there has been so many times that I'm sitting on the other end of my computer and I'm like, can we end this now? Because the questions had been answered 10 times already by our instructor. And why are we still going around in circles? Like, we don't have to keep talking about this. Stop talking about it. Let's just end it. Do y'all not have a bedtime?
Hey.
That's my question. It's like, do y'all not want to go to bed? Y'all can revisit this in the morning through an email.
Exactly right. Did you not work today or have school?
So
those are your three. So your three are lack of communication or no communication.
Yes.
And then handing out grades to people who didn't do their work, didn't put as much effort in as you. And then working with people online. So group work. Are you talking about holding sessions as well, or what are you saying?
I'm okay. Personally, I don't mind whole group sessions with class participation, all that kind of stuff. Like if there's things that need to be taught, like I'm okay with that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the students that I have to work with and listen to on these whole group sessions. Like I don't mind listening to the teacher teach.
Right.
But some of these students, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what has happened.
Yes, I feel you. We're on the same vibe. So now, Leighana, it's time for our last segment already.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so I want you to imagine that there's an online virtual bulletin board with notes and messages from students to their professors. Okay?
Okay.
So as our featured scribe, share with us the note you would leave one of your online college professors.
Okay.
Let the strings play.
Okay. So I am going to start it off with Dear Professor, because how fitting is that? It is my name. As an inspiring educator, it's important, like I've said, to foster a love for education. Education is so important, and I'm grateful that you have been chosen to stand in the gap and provide that to this generation. Because of you, I have been pushed, I have been taught, and I have been reminded of my why. There was never a moment that I had to question if I was in the right field while I was in your class. You were there cheering me on, a huge encouragement to all. You shared your passion for each subject you taught, and as a student who values a professor who cares, it meant the world and absolutely made a difference. Thank you for making a difference. As you have reminded me of my why, I want to remind you to never forget your why. Have a healthy balance between knowing and embracing your why, but also don't let the lack thereof that comes from a certain percentage of students trouble you. Keep in mind the difference that you are making to other students who value your guidance, your time, your passions, your teachings, and your efforts. I cannot express how much I appreciate what I was taught in the time I had you as my professor. Because of you, I cannot wait to show the world what it looks like to be an effective and intentional teacher.
Oh my goodness, Leighana! Let me clap. That was so moving and so heartfelt, so sweet. Well, I am so glad that you were my first guest. How do you feel?
I feel honored and I'm so excited. Like I'm just loving how this is just taken off. I still have butterflies from just being on here. And so I'm just honored. I just love it. And thank you so much for letting me be part of this.
Yes. Now, I want to share the takeaways. I enjoyed you so much. I know I said them multiple times, you all, during while she was talking, during the session, but I just want to reiterate for those of us, you may have been busy in the kitchen or something and you didn't hear a part. So let me give you the takeaway. All right. Leighana needs you to communicate. She needs you to communicate. She needs everyone to communicate. The financial aid office. Okay. She needs the department, the instructors,
Yeah.
everyone needs to communicate. And she needs her instructors to have passion about what they are teaching. Okay. And her pet peeves are the lack of communication, obviously, or when there is no communication. Also, she wants you to grade her work. Follow the academic integrity policies and actually grade her work and the work of her peers so that people are not being handed grades. We know we have a lot of grade inflation going on where everybody's on the dean's list and
Yes.
everybody's making A's and B's, but a
Yes.
lot of people aren't learning anything with these high GPAs. So let's stop that by actually grading the work and acknowledging the efforts of the students who are doing their very best and putting time into their work. And then lastly, she said she absolutely abhors working with people online.
Yes, just all of that. If you need a drop down menu, you just think of whatever your drop down menu is and click on it because working with people online is awful.
She said she
Like
has often felt like she was wasting her time,
group
right?
work, big, big no no. I am not a good group work member. That is one of the drop down menus.
And that's probably, is it because they don't prepare for the group work, Leighana, or what do you think is what is the underlying cause? Do you
The
think?
underlying cause of this group work issue is because nobody cares to do group work except for they want to just munch off the one that will actually do it. And so if you're in a group of 4 and one of your group members is probably the brains of the group, they're just going to let that brain do it. And it's just exhausting and unfair. And
Oh,
yeah, nobody's ever prepared, I'll say. And yeah, it's just a bad time. It's just so bad. And especially if you don't like work like me, I'm not a good, like the minute somebody mentions group work, I instantly probably roll my eyes because it is just, I already know how it's going to go down half the time. And half
right.
the time I'll end up having to do so much more work than I'm supposed to do. And somehow they still get credit for it. So yeah.
And let me ask you this. I don't mean for us to go down this, on a tangent, but let's go. So, do you find that students are just like so busy? They're booked and busy, booked and busy. Like, is that a problem with
Yeah.
group work? You
Um,
know,
I
as if
think
you're not, as if you're not booked and busy too. But what's the issue you think with that?
right. I think that people just don't prioritize what is more important than the other, if that makes sense. So
Right.
if you know what you're setting yourself up for, so let's say I have so many jobs and I know that I'm also trying to get my education, but I also know what my educational schedule is versus what my work schedule is. So I need to prioritize which one's more important. So if you think that work is more important than your education, then you should probably just stick with your work. And that probably might sound really bad, but just if that's what you feel, if making that dollar is a lot more, and I'm not saying, we all have a life, we all have to make money. I know things are expensive, but when you sign yourself up for something, you need to be dedicated to what you're doing. So it may be the fact that they're booked and busy and whatever that is, but I just also feel like there's just a lack of priorities. So, I mean, maybe they just don't prioritize education the way that they should and the way that they make it seem. And they just think that working all the time is going to be the answer when they've signed themselves up for school, if that makes sense.
Right. Well, ouch, ouch, ouch. Leighana has stepped on somebody's toes.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
But don't be offended. Just, take it and use it to make
Right.
yourself better. Well, thank you, Leighana, again for being here today, and for everyone who joined us. Remember to click on the subscribe button, please comment, like, and share if you care. And I look forward to spending time with you next week on the Dear Professor series, where college students who take courses online speak their minds. Bye-bye.